hello and welcome to another episode of Sheddock Customs TV, and in this episode we're going to be working on the cylinder head of my 1939 Rudge Special. Now you might not have seen this head before, but basically it's had quite a lot of trick little operations done to it, and I'm going to show you some of those. Well, I'll probably show you all of them if you get to the end of the video. And I'm also going to assemble it, so we're going to finish off putting the valves in, putting the springs on, and then putting the rocker shafts in. So basically ready. And then the next operation, which probably won't be in this video, we'll see, is we've got to set up the cam timing. So sit back, get your cup of tea, and let's get going. So here's a little bit of a closer look at the Rudge Special cylinder head. So it's a 4-valve head, if you've never seen one before. So although it's a single cylinder, it's got 4 valves. And one of the jobs that we've done, or I've done, is I've painted it. So guess what today's job is? Here we have the Rudge cylinder head, all ported and lovely, done by my good friend Andy Savage. So this has been acid pickled, all sorts of bits and bobs on it, so it's all back to an original bare casting, which looks lovely. And then what I've done is I've bought this paint, caliper paint, hopefully heat proof, and it's a sort of it's a gloss finish. And then because we got all those fins to get in, and I've run out of paintbrushes, I bought 50 paintbrushes. I don't know how many I'm going to have left when I finish, so I'm sure this is not going to be the most exciting thing you've ever seen, but I'll put you on time lapse and I'll give it a bit of a paint, and we'll see how well it goes on and how well it covers. Well, if you're like me, I'd rather watch paint dry than paint it, but I've saved you the agony. So it's just one coat. I'm hoping that's going to be enough. I'm pretty pleased. Pretty good coverage, upside down, round and round, all sorts of ways to try and make sure I've done a thorough job. Next thing we're going to be doing is building up the top end, so we've got to put the rocker shafts in, got the new valves, guides and all the other bits and pieces, so I'll bring you along for that. But anyway, nice day in the sunshine, painting cylinder heads. It could be better, but it wasn't bad. The majority of the work has gone out to a good friend of mine called Andy Savage, and some of the things that he's done is he's made these bronze guides, and he's also done a fantastic job of porting the head, which I'll try and show you now. I don't know how well that's going to come out on camera, but basically Andy's ported and polished the inlet track, and then what we've done is we fitted Ulster exhaust valves, and then to get a bigger inlet valve, which we decided was going to be the way to go to get a bit more performance, we've gone for, of all things, Honda Pt1 inlet guides. So they've got just over a 6mm stem, so we've got a nice small stem, and that's allowed the valves to come out because the seats were in the head were quite deeply pocketed, which wasn't ideal. So by increasing the diameter of the valves a little bit, it's meant we can get a better seat. They've also done a central spark plug change. So normally, if I just spin the head round, normally the spark plug would go through the side, so that's going to get blocked up with a blanking plug, and then ultimately we've now got a racing spark plug, so a 10mm, so we've got a lot more choices of spark plugs to hopefully get a better combustion. Okay. So the next part of this are the valves. So these are the SP2 valves. We've got some new valve springs, double valve springs, and then because of the valve springs, and they're obviously the original valve spring retainer for the Honda wouldn't work. He's ended up turning up some new valve caps. So all in all, quite a bit of work. Hopefully bringing this bike into the modern era and increasing some performance, but I guess we're only going to find that out later down the line. So I'll go about fitting the valves now. And then this is the valve setup. So you've got a steel insert which sits over the top of the valve guide and stops the spring from eating away at the actual cylinder head. Got the double valve spring, got the new valve cap and the valve. So let's have a go at putting this together. So we've got the protector for the bottom of the cylinder head, stop the valve spring eating it away. Going to put on the assembly. Here's the valve, and it's been marked with a number of pot marks on it, which we're going to line up with a number of pot marks on the head, so we get the right one in the right hole, because they've been lapped specifically for a particular hole. Going to assemble that through the valve guide. Now we're going to use this valve spring compression tool, which is basically like an over center clamp. You've got one end which you put over the end of the cap, and it's got a space in it so that you can get the valve collets in, and the other end is adjustable to change the tension. So you can see I'm lined up the open end over the valve, and I've just pushed the handle down, and now I've got some space. And here are the valve collets.